Hiya folks, welcome to the warm-up, the short sharp data pack to get you ready for Leeds' next championship game, and this one is a big one. Leeds United at home to Sunderland, as we have a little run of games where we play the teams that are in and amongst us. It's a very important group of fixtures coming up, starting with, as I say, Sunderland on this Monday night, followed then by Sheffield United next Monday, and then West Brom on March 1st. The Leeds know that 7 wins from the remaining 14 games could potentially be enough to see Leeds clinch promotion back to the Premier League, but the job isn't done, and some positive results in this next grouping could go a long way to showing how this league will pan out come May. If Leeds can beat Sunderland in this game, it will open a 10-point gap between Leeds and them in 4th place, but it will also open up a 7-point gap to 3rd place Burnley, who've dropped points again this weekend. The draw specialists in the league are just starting to be cut adrift just a little bit. So a win for Leeds against Sunderland will go a long way to removing one of the teams from contention. The first job for Leeds, though, is to confirm automatic promotion to the Premier League. We can talk about the title when that's done, but right now the number one goal is to get out of this league. Second one is to talk about the title. Leeds do not want to be in a situation this year where we're dicking about with the playoffs. Sunderland's new additions of Enzo Lufc as well as Wilson Isidore have had an immediate impact for them since they've arrived this season. But Leeds now unbeaten in 15 league games. 4 wins from our last 5 shows that Leeds are in very strong form despite not dipping into the transfer market in January. Leeds could have taken 3 points from this game up at the Stadium of Light. They didn't. We know why. A mistake from the Leeds United goalkeeper Ilan Meslier, meaning Leeds left with a point when 3 was on the board, and Leeds have a great chance to fix that in this game, and Ilan Meslier will no doubt be under a little bit of a spotlight. He's been in really good form in the last couple of weeks. He's made some very important saves in the games that we've played, but he will be no doubt under the spotlight in this game, and he will need to make sure we limit chances around the Leeds United penalty area. We'll go through the form guide all up. We'll also look at the key form, the home and away form for both sides, team news for both teams coming into this game, as well as likely lineups, team news and form guide as well. We'll crack on and start off with Leeds United, who are the home side this week. Leeds are on, as I say, an unbeaten 15 game run. If they continue that for the remaining 14, it would mean promotion to the Premier League. 18 goals scored and no goals conceded in the last 6 league games has put Leeds United in a very strong position. We might not be top right now, and we might not be top even after the game against Sunderland, but Leeds are in a very strong position that if they get through these 4 games, to go on another run towards the back end of the season. From a Sunderland perspective, they shouldn't be written off by any stretch of the imagination. Currently sitting in 4th place, 17 wins from 32 games. They've scored 49 goals, conceded 28. The last 5 though for Sunderland, 3 wins and 2 draws, and as I say, in a very, very good run of form, and shouldn't be ignored on what they can bring to this game. They have a very dangerous side who can take chances if and when they are presented to them. From a key form perspective, so just looking at Leeds United's home form and Sunderland's away form coming into this game, we'll start with Leeds as they are the home side, and Leeds' home form is the best in the division, as we keep saying week after week. 13 wins from 16 home games. Only 1 defeat all year. 4 wins, 1 draw in our last 5 home league games. Leeds have scored a phenomenal 42 goals in 16 home games and only conceded 7. Something that they'll want to make sure they reproduce in this game against Sunderland. Get a couple of goals early and try and keep the onion bag at our end completely empty. And Leeds have a very strong chance of coming away with 3 points in this game. Sunderland, though, on the road, pretty decent, and actually not far off Leeds' away record as well. They are just behind Leeds in 4th place in the away league table so far this year. 7 wins from their 16 away games, scoring 21 goals and conceding 16. 2 wins in their last 2 away games, but if you look at it over the last 5, it's 2 wins in 5, but that 2 wins in 2 shows you that they come into this game in really good form and will look to try and dint Leeds United's promotion chances and give themselves another crack at getting into the automatic spots. From a team news perspective, we've heard Daniel Farkas speak this week. Max Ferber had successful knee surgery and will be back just after the international break. 6 weeks likely to be that one. Pat Bamford is due back in full team training in 10 days time. He's still finishing off the last few bits and pieces of his own work. Seems to be okay, so he should be fine, but we'll have him back in contention in the next 10 days. And everyone else is available outside of that. From a Sunderland perspective, a few missing, but a few returning for them as well. Chris Rigg was a doubt for this game after going off injured in their last match, but he has been cleared to play by manager Regis Lebris. Jensen Selt is also back available for them. No Ian Paveda last time out as he comes up against his old side Leeds United due to an internal disciplinary issue. He was late for a club event, but he is expected back in the squad for the game at Elland Road. Tommy Watford is out of this game, as is Jaden Dennis for them, and Ahmed Abdullah is back in training but is expected to miss out on this one. Aji Elise out with a broken leg for what looks like the remainder of the season, and former Leeds United player Niall Huggins also out for an extended period of time with a knee issue for them. So some out, some back, but doesn't mean that they're anyway weak, and they have a very strong squad of players. Players to keep an eye on coming into this game, and it's the two that I've already mentioned for Sunderland. It's Wilson Isidore and Enzo Lefebvre, who have been in phenomenal form for both those sides, and how Leeds can deal with them and nullify their impact on that game will go a long way to dictating the result of this match. But it's not just them. Leeds also need to keep an eye on the likes of Job Bellingham as well as Patrick Roberts, who are very talented players who can do an awful lot from very little. Job Bellingham has a habit of running midfield for Sunderland. If Leeds can limit that impact, then Leeds could control this game and then ultimately hopefully pick up the result. From Leeds' perspective, it's the wide men that we're all talking about. James and Solomon with 30 goals and assists combined so far this season, half of Leeds' total for the season. Joel Piroe sits top of the goal and assist chart so far this season, 20 GNA for him, 14 goals, 6 assists, the best of the best in the division right now. I would expect Sunderland to come and have a go at Leeds in this game, because sitting in fourth place and with a potential 10-point gap opening up, a draw for them doesn't do an awful lot. One game less, didn't pick up 3 points, and Leeds to continue to add points to their tally. So I would expect an open enough game, and I would expect them to have a proper go at Elland Road. For Leeds, I wouldn't be shocked at all to see a midfield pairing of Ao Tanaka and Ilya Gruev, just to be mindful of those counter-attacks and that attacking threat that Sunderland bring, as well as that midfield battle with Job Bellingham. It's an important part of the pitch to win that battle. If Leeds can do that, and again, as I say, I just think Daniel Farke will look at those two. It's worked very well to counter against breaks away from home, and I think in this type of game, you might see Gruev come into that middle of the park just to make sure defensively that Leeds have that extra body in there. Leeds will also need to limit the amount of counterattacks they face, as well as the chances that they create. As I've already said, Sunderland have a track record of taking their chances when they're presented to them, so Leeds will need to limit that as well. They've got some very good players in attacking areas. But as I say at the start of the video, Leeds don't necessarily have to beat Sunderland and Sheffield United in the next 2 games. A draw on both of those will probably be enough for Leeds, given the games that we have coming up afterwards, and these sides have to all go and play each other as well, so more points will be dropped in the promotion race. But if Leeds were to try and pick up 3 points in this game, it opens that 10-point gap, and I think it sends a statement out to the rest of the league. Leeds are the front runners in this division this season. It also puts more pressure on Sheffield United, and then coming into that game next week against Sheffield United, it could really put a lot of emphasis on who wins the title in that game. But as I say, it's important for Leeds to try and get promoted first and foremost. Those top 2 spots are the goal. The top one is a nice cherry on top if and when we get to a stage to talk about that. From a team lineup perspective, I'm going for a pretty basic side. As I said, I just think Leeds will be mindful of that midfield threat that Sunderland bring and the attacking threat. So for me, Ilham Elie in goal, Jaden Bogle and Junior Firpo as the fullbacks, and it'll be interesting to see how Firpo gets on and Bogle against the likes of Lefebvre in this game. Will they sit a little bit deeper, or will they play their normal attack-minded game? Ethan Ampadu stays in centre-back with Joe Rodner. For me, just from a consistency perspective, I do prefer Pascal Stroke centre-back to Ethan Ampadu. Ampadu's a bit casual recently, getting caught in possession, his passing out from the back are being intercepted. He's not been brilliant from a playing perspective for me. Interception wise and how he reads the game, he's excellent. So for me in this game, I think Ampadu is likely to stay in there. Midfield areas, Ilya Gruev and Ao Tanaka for me. Again, that defensive stealth in there to make sure Leeds are secure, and at the very, very least, leave Elland Road with a point in this game. Brendan Aronson operating back into number 10. He's got his rest. He can come back in now. And then Manor Solomon and Dan James outside of them for the impact that they have brought so far this season. And Leeds' top goal scorer and the league's top GNA contributor, with Joel Piroe playing in the number 9 position. Let me know what you think. Score prediction wise, from me, I think it's a 2-1 win to Leeds. I don't think there'll be a huge amount in this game. I hope I'm very wrong, and I hope we romp this game. But I wouldn't also be surprised at a 2-2 draw. But I'm going to be positive, I'm going to be confident, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Leeds United in this game to open a 10-point gap to 4th place Sunderland. And then It's just a case of trying to knock Burnley off their rhythm and out of the automatic race as well. And then it's a head-to-head to see who gets the title. And we'll all be done and dusted pretty soon. So let me know down below what your team lineup would be, what your goal predictions are going to be for this game as well. And I will be back on Monday morning for the Leeds news, as well as some form of a podcast on Monday evening as well. You can check that out, as well as back to normal scheduling then from Tuesday on. Enjoy the rest of your day. Fingers crossed for 3 points, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.